Welcome back, guys. So today it's time for a stealth camp. I'm going to be doing the April challenge for Stealth Camping Alliance, and I'm about to leave the house. We're going to do some errands first in town, go get a few things for the trip, and then I'll show you where we're going to camp. All right, stay tuned. All right, so for today we're going to be headed to Stephenville, Texas, which is about 20 miles east of Desdemona. And I think we've got a really good spot picked out today. I'm going to have to do a little checking. You know, sometimes plans change, but I think you'll enjoy it. Like I say, this should be a blast. It's going to be a busy area, so there's going to be a little tomfoolery going on, you know, sneaking from the vehicle to the spot. Thankfully, the spot that I'm going to probably camp in is not too far from where I can park, so we'll see how that goes. But I'm probably going to drive, and I'll check back in with you guys a little later. So right up here on the right-hand side of the road, there's a spot that is really, I don't know, I get a little bit of a kick every time I drive by it. But right here in the middle of Texas, there's just a random ostrich that lives out here in this pasture to the right to me. I don't see him today, though. He must be too windy for him, so who knows. But I look for him every time. I don't know why. Something about just a random ostrich in the middle of a Texas pasture is just humorous to me. Alright, so I'm at a little impromptu stop here, kind of midway between Stephenville and Desdemona. There's a town called Lingoville, and they have the neatest little country store there that sells everything from pizza to drinks, and they've also got a selection of good craft beer and craft sodas. And they've recently started selling cigars, and so I got one for later. It's a Project 40 by Alec Bradley, and then I also picked up a craft soda. I guess you could call it a pre-step 2. It's non-alcoholic, but it's called Pennsylvania Punch. But I'm about to crack it open and drink on it while I head to town. Alright, see you then. Alright, well, we are coming into Stephenville. And while I make my first stop, I'm going to tell you a little bit about the town. Let me turn myself around. Alright, so Stephenville is not a huge town. It's the bigger town in the area. It's getting close to 20,000 people, and it's really grown since I was a kid. They have a pretty decent sized university here, and it's called Tarleton University. And it's part of the Texas A&M school system. And so, but one of the things they focus on a lot here at Tarleton is rodeo. In fact, Stephenville is actually, the nickname for it is the cowboy capital of the world, and we have a lot of rodeo people that come out of Stephenville, and a lot of bull riders. If anybody's familiar with rodeo, there's a man named Ty Murray. He lives here. I can't think of any specific people besides that off the top of my head, but when you walk around town, you'll see lots of rodeo folks, cowboy hats and everything like that. Something else that we have here, the football team, the high school team, they have gone to the state playoffs in football, gosh, I don't know, a lot over the years, and so they're real well known for football here in town also. But I'll show you around a little bit once I get through this red light here. And like I say, there's a few things I've got to pick up before we go to our destination. Let's see, tonight I was thinking of cooking some chicken andouille sausage, and I don't have anything to go with it, so I'll probably be picking something up at the store for that. Might make like a poor man's jambalaya or something like that. You know, just throw some rice in there with some seasonings. But gonna do that. Also, got to pick up some step twos somewhere, and for that we'll probably go to Specs, which is a Texas-based liquor store chain, and it is awesome. You can get so much in there. I'll try to get some video or maybe some images in the store. You know, I don't want to walk around talking to myself while I'm in there, because people might be a little bit leery, but I'll show you what it looks like. But like I say, I'm gonna get some step twos in there. I'm gonna see if they have a cigar cutter, because in all my rush to get out the door and get all my stuff packed, I forgot my bullet cutter. So I'm gonna try to find one of those too here in town. But other than that, get that taken care of, and we will head straight to the camping. All right, see you then. All right, everyone, so we're done at Wally World, and we're done here at Specs. And man, I forgot to get some pictures of this liquor store, but maybe next time. So I'm gonna go find some ice for my cooler, and then we'll head to the destination. I don't want to give it away just yet. All right, stay tuned. All right, guys, well, finally made it to the destination, and I'll get out and show you a little bit around here in a minute, but let me tell you about where I'm at. So Stephenville has a pretty nice city park for the size of town that it is. Where I'm sitting right now, there's a big pavilion and a little playground. There's a river that runs through, or a creek that runs through the park in this area, and it's got a nice wooden bridge. I'll show you that. And there's an amphitheater where we have concerts in the park every summer. You know, usually, it being Texas, it's country music, which to each their own. And then there's baseball fields, there's a tennis court. I mean, it's a nice park. I think there's even a skate park. But the cool thing about it is the trail. There is a awesome bike, walking, running, hiking trail, whatever you want to do on it, and it goes all around the park here. But then it also goes along there's a major river also that runs through town, and it goes alongside that river and ends up on the other side of town, and that's probably where we're going to camp. It's still technically considered the park, but it's away from most of the people. It's a little bit more out of the way, and so I'll show you guys that later. But right now I'm going to get out and kind of take some video of the park here and some of the facilities, and then we'll see how things go. See, right over there is the pavilion, or I'm sorry, the amphitheater I was talking about, where we have our concerts. This is the walking bridge, of course the creek, and it winds around that away and goes to the edge of the park. There's kiddos playing, and let's go check out this bridge here. Every year, I think it's in the spring, maybe early summer, they have a free fishing day in the park, and people can come down here and fish in the creek here. You know, I just saw some turtles. Well, there's one right there actually, swimming. Mostly those are red-eared sliders. There might be an occasional snapping turtle in here, but I've never seen one. Well, still more of the same. But once you get over the bridge, you know, you can see the walking trail and picnic tables, and I don't see any kind of barbecue grills or nothing. They do actually allow camping in the park, but it's not on this side. But it's mainly just a handful of RV sites, and I think they'd let people tent camp as well. Because as you can see, and it's just a real nice green open area. We can play frisbee. There's disc golf here at this park, which I'm thinking of trying out myself one of these days. Of course, the baseball fields, having a little league game over there right now, and I mean, it's just a really neat little park. In a minute I'll show you a little gazebo that's that away. We'll walk over there and check it out and check out the trail back there. Alright, so here's the gazebo I was telling you guys about, and this is called Century Park. It's like a park within a park, I guess. You can see a nice little plaque talking about the area. Lots of picnic tables, this real nice gazebo. I believe those are maybe some fire pits. Let's go check it out and see. But you can see more of the river behind us there. That's the actual, it's basically like a creek that cuts off from the Bosque River. And that river runs through Stephenville, like I said. But got all these little dedication plaques all around this gazebo, and let's see, that was Friendship Glen. Apparently I know another Glen. Let's see, nice little brick picnic tables. I don't know what this is here. Oh, just a trash can. Well, pretty nice trash can. But I'm gonna wander back here and check out the creek and try not to disturb these folks over here that are hanging out. Let's see, I believe there's a trail back here. Yes, let's see where this leads. It's really a beautiful day today. Nice and warm. The only problem is the wind is blowing really high. It's blowing like almost 20 miles an hour, and so it kind of makes it a little bit hard to film. Hopefully you guys can hear me once I get all the edits done. But I'll do some looking into the woods here, see how easy or hard it would be to camp around here. But I mean, it's pretty rough over there. I mean, I'm sure there's some snakes and all kinds of critters out there. But now there's something I saw the other day my wife pointed out to me, and I want to go see if I can find it. It looked kind of interesting. Check this out. This is kind of a neat little area. Let's see if I can do this without falling down into the creek. Nice little water hole there. It's nice and shady. The creek is running a little bit. Lots of briars. You ever had a briar wrap around your legs? It's not fun. I think it's almost as bad as a bull nettle, and if you ever want to know what that is, let me know. But I'm not seeing that spot. Might have to go around. Yeah, I'm probably gonna have to go around when I drive the other way, and I'll show it to you. You can kind of see it from here, but it's too obscured. It almost looks like ruins, but I'm not sure what it is. So let me get back to the car and go around to the other side of the park, and I'll see if we can find it. Okay, I've kind of gone around the corner from where I was a while ago, so now we can maybe see this little area I was talking about. One second. So anyway, like I say, my wife was telling me about this little area, and she thought maybe I could get over there and camp, but I'm not real sure. Let's see what we got here. Alright, so here's some of our disc golf stuff, and here's another one. right over there. But I mean, it's just really pretty here. It's a very pretty park, really nice park. But this is the thing that I was wanting to look at here. Let's see if I can get through here without getting bit by any snakes. Alrighty. So it's just a big culvert, really. Outflow of some kind for the river. But it's kind of neat. I mean, it would be neat to get over there and just hang out, you know, sit there, and the water was up enough, maybe do some fishing. But I don't think there's any good camping over there to be had, really. But it's kind of interesting. A lot of graffiti. Here it is. A Mexican standoff with a squirrel. News at 11. All right. And I'm back. So I'm on the other side of town now, to where the city trail comes to the end on the far side. See, this is where we're at, and my spot is right in here. So let's go find it. When I get there, I'll show you. All right, guys, I found the mother lode. Let's check it out. So as you can see, this is a nice spot. That's nice and thick. Nobody can see me. There's a berm right there that blocked my view from anybody. Somebody might could see me through right there, but maybe not. Nice and open. There's a good soft spot to put the tent right here. And then, you know, nice flat spot where I can sit and not have to worry about sinking in the ground. Yeah, this will be nice. And here, in another couple hours, it'll be really shady. So I'm just going to hang out around until some folks leave. Then I'm going to start bringing my stuff over. All right, see you then. All right, so I got most of my gear here, enough to get set up. So here we go. All right, guys, so it's time to set up. And so far there's nobody else around, so let's get to it. Alright, so got things set up. Unfortunately the wind is terrible, and so hopefully it'll die down here pretty quick. I'm going to sit down for a little bit, have me a step two, and then here in a little bit I'm going to go back to the car and get the stuff for dinner. So I will see y'all soon. Alright, I'm back, and it's time for a step two. This is a dogfish head Festina peach, and it says it's a tart summer sour made with boatloads of peaches. So if you like a sour beer, we'll see how this one is. I've only had one kind of dogfish head beer before, and that was the Sequencer Ale, and it's really good. In fact, I got one in here, but we're gonna open this one and see how it is. Pretty good. It's got lots of peach flavor to it. But so yeah, like I say, it's windy as hell here. I get my keys off my belt, kind of driving me crazy. No, I like to never got this tent set up. It was insane, and sadly where I'm at is on top of a rock, I think, because the stakes will only go down like maybe 3 inches, if that. And so I'm going to be babysitting it all night probably. Hopefully this wind will lay in another couple hours, but at least we're here and we're camping. So I'm gonna sit here and drink my beer, and then I'm going to go back to the car and bring some more gear and check on it, and then I will hang out. See you later. Alright, so I finally got everything from the car. Took me about 3 trips. Got camp set up. Everything's starting to be nice and chill. Here in a second, I've got some stuff I want to talk about, but first, I'm going to show you something. So, I know a lot of people use like jackeries and all that stuff, and those things are really cool, but I'm poor. So, I use this thing. It's called a Marlboro portable power supply, and it has a light and has several settings of brightness, strobe, but it's a pretty neat little item. I'm gonna plug my phone in and charge it, because I did a lot more filming with my phone this time than I have done in the past, just because it was easier to use while I was out doing stuff. But give me just a second. I'm gonna get this going. Alright, so as you all know, this is the April challenge for the Stealth Camping Alliance, and I want to give a few shout outs. And so Andrew from Out of Bounds, he came out with a video a few weeks ago, basically kind of like a, there's people, hold on a second. Basically it's like a tips for stealth camping. And so, following his lead, Jay from Jay and Night, it was his turn to present the challenge, and so he presented this urban stealth camp. And so I just wanted to give those two guys a quick shout out. You know, thanks Andrew Out of Bounds for, you know, I guess sparking the idea, and thanks Jay for presenting the idea. Also, I want to give a shout out to Nick from Outdoorsman. I really enjoyed his video for March, and he's a fellow Southern boy, so we Southern boys got to stick together. So Nick, I'll have a step 2 for you here in a little bit. And then the last person I want to talk about is Timmy, who is the Aussie 12. And yes, I'm sorry, I'm using notes because I would forget everybody's exact YouTube handle, so I use notes. But anyway, Timmy, when I posted my video last month, you know, me being a new YouTuber, and he was very gracious. Well, everybody from the group has been very gracious and encouraging, and you know I'm not really the best at speaking publicly, and I'm definitely new to this whole YouTube thing, and so all the encouragement from everybody has been appreciated. But I just wanted to call out those two guys specifically. You know, like I say, Nick for having a really good video last month. I enjoyed it probably the most out of the 5 that were picked. And of course, Camping Like a Boon, his video was really good. I really liked the battle scenes and stuff like that in it. There was a lot of good touches in his video. But like I say, us Southern boys got to stick together. And Timmy, thanks for the kind words on my video, and you know, along with everybody else. So like I say, I just want to give you guys a shout out. And in a little bit I'm gonna probably cook some dinner, and then once it gets dark, I've got a little something I want to do for the group. So I'll see y'all soon. Alright, I'm back. So I'm gonna be cooking something to eat here pretty quick, but real quick, I just want to talk a little bit about some of the new gear that I am using this time. Since my last video, I bought a few more things for my GoPro. I bought a media mod, which has a good mic on it, and then also a little light mod that goes on top of that. So hopefully this time my lighting issues will be a lot better than they were on the last video. See, I'm using a new tent this time. It's similar to the one I had last time, only this is a River Country Products tent, and there's all kinds of reviews for it on YouTube. Some not so good, but I think they have done a lot of revisions to it. And so the last review I seen for one of these tents said that it was a good tent, so I'm going to test it out tonight. We'll see. It sure was hell getting it up with the wind, I'm not gonna lie. And let's see what else. Oh, so the last time I backpacked in with my old military duffel bag, and while it held a lot of stuff, it was not very practical. So in the meantime, I got a Teton Sports 75-liter backpack. It's the I think it's called the Explorer. Of course, it's olive drab green and black, and I'd show it to you, but it's in the tent full of stuff right now. So I'll show that to you guys another time. I might do a full review video on it after I get back, but so far it's been a lifesaver. I was able to get almost everything in it except for the cooler and a few other little things. What else do we have? Oh, I recently got a bespoke post, and inside it was a Climate Versa blanket, so I'm going to be using that for the first time tonight. So hopefully it works as good as what the reviews say on it. And then I think that's pretty much it for the major new stuff. But I guess give me a few minutes to get the camera in a better place, and I'm gonna cook some dinner. Alright, so I'm gonna be cooking some of this. It's chicken andouille sausage, and it's from Holmes Smokehouse. I think got it at Walmart or HEB, and I went cheap. Uncle Ben's rice, but I'm going to be cooking it on the same stove that I used last time, which is the Fire Maple Blade 2. So let's get this thing lit up. Actually, might be helpful to open the sausage first and get it in the pan. Cook this stuff up. I'm gonna have to find my utensils, so I'm actually going to do that real quick, and I'll get back with you guys. Alright, got my stuff. I'm also gonna break out the thermocell because the mosquitoes are pretty bad right now. And on top of that, I found a tick on me a while ago, and that is definitely not a good thing. These thermocells are really good. They're worth their weight in gold. And this one came with this nifty little holster here, which makes it easier to put it on your belt or hang off of something. I can never get it back together. That's the key. There we go. Alright, almost there, almost there. Definitely don't want to get this in the food. There we go. I think I see a spark in there. I'm gonna actually hang this off the tripod here. Alright, so got our sausage in here. And get my spoon. Picked this little eatery set up at Amazon for like 11 bucks. It's called War Blue. It's got a knife, a fork, and a bottle opener. But we're about to eat with it. Right, now we can get the fire going. And I dropped my spoon. But a little dirt never hurt nobody, right? Turn that fire down just a hair. It's a little high. Here we go. I think we're on there. Take a few minutes to get this stuff going. Now, it's going to be interesting to see what I do with my leftovers, because I know there's going to be too much of this stuff. And let's see, brought a little seasonings. This little thing here is actually sold in the craft section at Walmart, but it's perfect for seasonings. This time I've got my black pepper, sea salt, like some house seasoning my wife makes. It's got onion powder, garlic powder, pepper and salt as well, some jalapeno salt, a little cayenne, and then some straight garlic powder. We'll probably be using the jalapeno and the cayenne. But it shouldn't take long at all for this stuff to cook. Thankfully the wind has died down a little bit. There's a gust here and there, but it's definitely a lot better than it was. But while that's cooking, gonna sit down for a second. Well, can't see me too well, can you? Let me turn this over. There we go. Alrighty. So, have us a little bit of sausage and rice. Well, my phone still charges. Guess I could take my hat off and get comfortable. So yeah, this should be a pretty good dinner. I'll show you what it looks like once I get done with it. And it's been a long day, but it's going to be a good night though. I'm getting a little bit, I wished I had a wood or a plastic spoon, because I really don't want to mess up my pan here, but that's all right. I've got some. We're about to fall off here, I think. Man down, man down. There we go. All right. Let's see here. I think it's about time to let's turn this fire down a little bit more. There we go. It's not as hot, but just a little bit of olive oil in this here shortly. Get our oil out. There we go. Let that oil get in there and these little sausages nice and crisp a little bit. This thing does not want to stand where I want it. There we go, maybe. That's all I need is for this thing to fall over and set the place on fire. Alright, let's get this rice in there. Normally I would use rice that I made, but I didn't really have time for that. I actually had thought about making some chicken fried rice out here, but that didn't happen either. This will be alright. This is liable to stick. I have to put a little bit more oil in this, I think. I'm going to do like a bit of a fried rice type deal. This wind will cooperate and quit trying to blow my fire out. Let's see here. A little bit more oil, maybe not too much. Still a lot of people coming through here. I know I've been seen a few times, but most people don't care as long as you're not tearing up nothing or making a mess or doing anything shady. Alright, let's see here. Probably just gonna eat straight out of this pan when I get done. Let's do a little seasoning here. A little bit of pepper. Well, maybe too much. A little bit of this jalapeno. Add a bit of salt. Luckily, I like a lot of pepper, so just a little bit of cayenne, hopefully. There we go. Alright. Pepper went everywhere. I don't know if I would really call this jambalaya. It's just a concoction more than anything. But it's something to eat. And I'm sure everybody smells it. And I tell you what, I got this seasoning everywhere. Good thing I brought some water to clean my pan with. And my stove keeps wanting to run away with me, from me. You need a lid, really. Fortunately, it's nice right now. The sun's about to go down and everybody wants to be out here hiking. So that's what's going on right now. And I bet this stuff is getting pretty good. Alright, I bet that's done, so I'm going to turn the fire off. Let that cool. Let this sit there and chill for a second while it cools. Put my oil back where it goes, along with my seasonings. And then I'll show you guys what it looks like. Alright, let's see here. Well, it's nothing special, but it'll be something good. Let's see how it tastes. Well, definitely peppery, but it's gonna be good. I'm gonna eat. I'll talk to y'all later. Alright guys, welcome back. So, finished dinner. It was okay. That pan did not do that well on that burner, so I might get a Coleman stove next time. That might work a little bit better. But it was what it was. So, it's finally almost dark, and it's time for a little story. So, before we do that, I'm going to get a step 2, and I'm going to light the cigar. But first I got to move all this stuff over here, so bear with me. I got way too much stuff for a stealth camp. That's alright. I'm going to take some of it back to the car here in a little while. Alrighty. This time, like I say, I've got a Dogfish Head Sea Quencher. Now this beer is another sour, and it has like almost like a lime flavor, which anything lime is awesome. And I'm gonna put it in my koozie because it's cold. Alrighty. So got that situated. Let's put this stuff back so it's not in the way. And we'll get ready for some stories. Let's see. Got a text message here. It's my wife. Alright, so let's get this thing lit. So, I don't smoke many cigars, but I thought this was a very good, appropriate time for this, and along with a beer. And so, like I say, we're going to tell a story, and this time I actually did my research. If you saw my last video, I had some details wrong, and this time I made sure I researched. I even brought my research with me. That way I can refer back to it if I need to. But let's light this stogie. Like I say, this is I guess it's like a special edition. It's Alec Bradley Project 40. It's a Churchill, and so far it tastes pretty good. We'll see how it does with this beer. Alright, so this isn't really a ghost story or anything, and it's not just a straight historical story, but it did happen. And their humidor works pretty good because I can't get this thing to... Alright, so sorry about that. So it all started around about November of 2007 here in Stephenville and in the area. So I guess I should start with this area has had a few UFO sightings over the years, but the biggest I don't know, event began in December of 2007, maybe November, when several people in the area between here in Stephenville, around the town of Dublin, which is about 20 miles from Stephenville. So that was the beginning of the major event. But where things really got interesting was on the night of January 8th of 2008. And there was a man whose name is Steve Allen, and he's a local pilot and businessman. He was out with some buddies one night, and they were hanging out. They had a fire going. They were just kind of, you know, enjoying the cool winter air. And they were sitting there, and they noticed something up in the sky. And they said it looked like it was huge, like the size of a football field, I think. And they saw it going across the sky towards the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Well, anybody who's familiar with this area will know that to the northeast is Fort Worth, and at Fort Worth they have what used to be Carswell Air Force Base. Now it's a joint Naval Reserve base. So anyway, they saw this craft going across the sky, and it freaked them out, of course, but they went about their business. You know, of course, they were talking about it and everything, and then about 10 minutes later, they seen the same craft coming back across their direction. This time it was being chased by 2 F-16 fighter jets. Well, they decided that was time to get out, and so they all went their separate ways. And this man, Steve, he was hesitant to talk about it. I think he talked to his wife, you know, told her, but he decided to share his story and report it when another man who, of course, I'm only going to mention a couple different people here, but that night I want to think there was at least 70 maybe reports filed to different authorities, different agencies. But what made Steve, let me look at my paper to make sure I got the guy's name right. What made Steve decide to come forward is when a man named, let's see, Leroy Gayton came forward, and he was a constable here in Stephenville. So, and it was one of them deals where he was afraid to come forward at first because he didn't want to lose his job as a law enforcement officer, you know, and the constable position is elected, and so he was worried if he came forward and said there was a UFO and I saw it, he would not get reelected. But anyway, when the two of them heard the other had seen this, and then they heard other reports of people seeing this thing, they all decided to tell their story. There was another man whose name was Rick Sorrells, and he seen a craft that same night land in the field behind his house and then take off. And it was a long, massive silver metallic craft, you know, kind of oval shaped like a saucer, I guess. So anyway, there were people all over this area seeing these UFOs that night. And when they tried to reach out to some local radar people, first they tried to reach out to the military base in Fort Worth, and they were told that there was nothing in the air. There were no fighter planes, there was no nothing, you know, they didn't see anything on radar. It was just it was a normal night. Well, then they talked to some other people in the area that were doing radar, and they actually saw where there was something in the sky that night. So anyway, like I say, this ship was going across the sky, had 2 fighter planes following it. And another thing that was in the area was the Crawford Ranch. Well, the Crawford Ranch was the home of George W. Bush, who was the president at that time, or about to be. Well, it was his last year. And I want to think maybe that ship initially had went in the direction of that ranch. Needless to say, that is an extreme no-fly zone. And then to the southwest of us is a town called Brownwood, and there's an area out there where they do training. And there was some you know. So you had all these different areas around us that were kind of high security, no fly zone, restricted airspace, and there's all these UFOs being seen. So a few days go by, and MUFON, Mutual UFO Network, came out and started investigating. Also, there was a show on TV at that time called UFO Hunters, came on the History Channel. Well, they came out and investigated. And something else that came out at the time, there was a guy that got a video of what he believed to be a UFO. And I'll see if I can find a picture or maybe a snippet of the video. But what he took, you know, it's an object in the sky, and he claimed that he was stationary when he took this, and he was using a camcorder, and he had it stabilized up against his porch rail. So anyway, he was taking this video, and what the video shows is like a real vibrant light, and once he zoomed in on it, it was blinking when he first seen it, but when he zoomed in, it almost looked like a ribbon in the sky. You know, it changed shapes, and it was blinking and strobing. Well, some of these investigators that looked into his video, they wrote it off as just being, you know, some kind of light thing, you know. But I've seen the video. It's very interesting. I mean, you know, if what the man says is true, I think it's questionable. You know, I think it could be something. Anyway, so like I say, that was in January of 2008 when the main sighting happened. And over the next few weeks, from this area down towards Houston, there were hundreds of UFO sightings. I think by the time it was all said and done, there was upwards to like 300 UFO sightings in this area. MUFON, once they got finished with their investigation, they released a 70-page report, you know, detailing that whatever it was definitely strange and anomalous. But where things get really interesting is the response from the authorities. So like I say, they contacted the military base in Fort Worth, and their initial statement was there was no aircraft in the air that night. Then a few days later, they released a new statement saying that what people were seeing was reflections off the bottoms of passing passenger planes. Well, see, the thing that's odd about that is those planes, all this happened at night, and I've seen enough planes fly over at night to know that you can't see any kind of reflection from those. You know, the only thing you can really see are the lights blinking on the wings, you know, the transponder lights. So anyway, that was the official story for a few days. Well, then they come out with a third story. This time they said that yes, there were fighter jets in the area and they were doing maneuvers, but that was around Brownwood, the Brownwood area. And so that was pretty much the end of it for the military. You know, it was just training exercises, nothing to see here. But I've talked to several people around here over the years, my wife included, and she has shared some interesting stories about UFOs and stuff herself. So just, let me think, kind of towards the west, back towards Desdemona, actually, there is a wind farm, you know, like the wind turbines, huge wind turbines. Well, one time her and her mom were driving out in the country, and they were going to go pick up my stepson from a friend's house. And this is before I met them. And they looked out at the windmills. And the windmills, if you see them at night, they have just a straight red light, and it blinks on and off. And so you've got, I don't know, there's probably 10, 15 of these wind turbines out there. And so at night, you can see them all blinking. Some of them will blink at the same time. Some of them will blink in different cycles, you know. So they're not all blinking at the same time, but some of them are, some of them aren't. But they seen something flying around amongst those windmills that was completely different. You know, it had different colored lights. It was just sort of, you know, just looked different. And they swear to this day it was not the windmills. What they saw was moving around, and whereas the lights on the windmills are stationary. And so, you know, to this day they swear that they saw a UFO around the windmills. The next thing she shared with me was she had a friend who was a policeman here in Stephenville. And one night he was driving through town on patrol, and he drove by the post office here in town, and he saw what looked like a person standing up on top of the post office. Well, he decided he was going to go check it out. And I don't know much about this story other than just the basics, but from what I understand, he went to go check it out. And I don't know if he went up on top of the roof himself or he just looked up there from the ground. Either way, when he looked and investigated it, it wasn't a human being standing on the roof of that. This man swore that he saw a legitimate alien, like a gray alien, up on top of this building. But like I say, I don't know any other details but that. And then I will share a personal experience of my own. So when I was in high school, I was a senior. Me and a friend of mine had been in a town called Rising Star, which is in Eastland County. And we had went with a group of friends to eat pizza at a place, and on the way back, me and my friend were in my vehicle, and we were the only two there, and it was real dark that night. This was in November, and we're driving along. There's no moon out. I mean, it was dark. You couldn't see the stars really from inside the vehicle. Well, we're moving right along, and I look up and I see this bright blue light come streaking across the sky. And I was in the process of telling my friend, hey, look at the shooting star, when the thing I saw came to a complete stop in midair and then shot straight up before disappearing. It moved so fast I couldn't even finish my sentence, and it made both of us feel pretty creeped out. You know, they say the hair on the back of your neck stands up. Well, it did. To this day, it was weird. You know, every time I think about that, you know, it gives me the heebie-jeebies. And of course, my friend, he's just like, oh man, it was just a shooting star, or it was just whatever, you know. He don't even want to admit what it was. And then I seen something similar to that again. I'm trying to think. It hadn't been very long ago, like in the last 6 months. I was going to work one morning, and I was driving across the bridge over at Lake Leon, which I told you about that in the last video. And every morning I could look at my windshield, and I would see this star. Every morning it was there, you know, a bright blue star. And that morning I looked up, and there were 2 bright blue stars. And then I got to noticing that the second one was hauling, but I mean, it was going across the sky fast, and it was a bright blue light. It was not blinking. You know, there was no red or green lights like you see on a plane. I mean, it was moving fast. And when I saw it, you know, it was just like the one I saw before, only this time it didn't shoot straight up. It was just zooming across the sky. But it was definitely odd. Now, whether it was a UFO, I really don't know. But it was odd enough to stick with me. So anyway, like I say, that's pretty much it. If you want to look up or know any information about the Stephenville UFO, there's been several TV shows. In fact, it is considered one of the biggest mass UFO sightings in modern history in the United States. It's been featured in several television shows. It was on UFO Hunters. It was on, hold on a second. It was on UFO Hunters. It was on a show called Alien Mysteries, which you can find both of those shows on Tubi TV. There's a show on Netflix called Encounters, and it was the first episode of that series that came out several months ago. It was on a show called UFO Conspiracies, which is on Discovery Plus. And then there's a documentary on Prime Video called I Know What I Saw that talks about it. So I mean, there's lots of info about this case if you're willing to, you know, look for it. But that's just a taste of the weird UFO stuff that goes on around here. There's a story that I've seen I've seen it on and off throughout my life. And there's a town called Aurora, Texas, which isn't too far from here. It's kind of between here and Fort Worth. And in I think it was 1897. If I'm wrong, I'll put a note in the video. But they actually had a UFO crash there in the 1800s, and it hit a windmill. And supposedly, they recovered a body from this thing. And, you know, it's the 1800s before anybody really knew about that stuff. There were no planes in the sky at that time. But supposedly, they found a body. They buried him in the local cemetery, or her, or whatever it was. And they put up a gravestone. And for years, the gravestone, it just showed a picture of like a flying saucer that someone carved on it. And that's it. And years ago, somebody stole it. So now nobody knows exactly where the supposed grave is. But that's just another fairly famous story about this area in regards to UFOs. So anyway, that's my story for tonight. You know, you guys watching the video, if y'all have any questions, feel free to send me a message and I'll, you know, talk with you about it. But I think I'm going to finish my cigar and finish my beer, and here in a little bit I'm gonna get my selfie stick thing out and go do a little night walking. So until then, see ya. Well, alright guys, so I screwed the pooch. I've spent the last 15 minutes walking this trail talking to you guys, and I didn't even have the camera going. It was on, but it wasn't recording, and so that explains why it kept shutting off after several minutes. So I'm going to do this again. So like I was telling before, I'm walking down this trail, and this is the Bosque River Trail, like I told you, down from where I was camping. It's pretty nice. It's dark as a bat's ass out here, except for these nice little lights. But right there you've got a pasture, and then right over here on the other side of this fence is the river. And so That's what that is. So I guess we're gonna head back, and I'll try to remember what all I was talking about. So anyway, like I was saying before, lived around here my whole life and have never walked this trail, and I don't know why. But a lot of it, I guess, is because where I live, there's all kinds of county roads. And so it's a lot easier to go walking there out in the country without having to worry about other people. And so usually that's what I do. I was talking about how, you know, it's ironic. I'm out here in the middle of the night on a trail by myself out in the middle of kind of the country. And I've just been talking about aliens and stuff, UFOs, you know. And so, you know, makes you a little bit leery, but that's fine. I'm not really that scared or anything. Just funny is all. Well, I'll show you the moon. The moon is a nice crescent moon. I don't know if you can really see it from this distance. This camera don't really zoom very well, but it's nice. And said, like I say, there's a pasture over there. I don't know if there's any cattle out there, but possibly. So, one of the things I was talking about earlier, there's a lot of other interesting, like, paranormal things around here in Stephenville. There's several well-known in the area anyway, ghost stories. One is about a place called McDowell's Hole. And I really don't want to talk about that too much right now. I think I'm going to save that for a future video. But I'll just say that it's, like I say, it's very well known in this area. And there's been many people around this place that have got the crap scared out of them out there. There's also been some Bigfoot sightings around this area over the years. I don't have any experience with that myself, you know, just the strange lights and stuff, and, you know, maybe a possible ghost incident that I've witnessed, but no Bigfoot. So we're about to come up to a train bridge that goes across the trail, and it's an old, looks like an old truss bridge, but they've built these nice little covered walkways, little covered awnings, I guess you could say, over the trail. Let me show you those. See here, these nice little covered areas to walk under in case the train drops any debris on you. And then let's see if we can get a good look at this bridge. You know, it's like right there. Let me put a little more light on, see if that helps. Okay, a little bit maybe. Let's take this off, see. Oh yeah, there we go. So you can see, of course, people have graffitied everywhere. There's a little trail, goes back out here. Let's see what this is. Of course, there's the truss bridge. Big sucker. I've never built one of those, but I've built a few bridges. There's some little ladder footholds there. Let's see. I'm not going to walk too far down here, but as you can see, there's the river. Lots of frogs and crickets down there. Probably some water moccasins. Ain't no telling. I think we're liable to run into a Sasquatch if we're not careful. Let's see what else we can find on this trail. Let's see what's up here. Looks like somebody's been just hanging out under this thing. Probably people come out here when nobody's around and drink beer and smoke weed and no telling what else. Which, there's nothing wrong with smoking weed if that's what you enjoy. I know there's a few of our fellow campers that enjoy it, so I'm not really opposed to that, just if you're old enough and wise enough to do it. Oops. An old Looks like an old column for a bridge or something. Let's see, what else we got over here? There's some real nice wooded foliage along the riverbank. But it is a nice night. It's a little humid. We've had some rain. Oh, that's terrible. Let me put my cover back on. All right, that's a little better. I'm not so blinded and not so whited out. So anywho, like I was saying before, I'm about to head back to the tent, I think, and crawl in and get ready. I might listen to some Coast to Coast AM later. I don't know if I mentioned that before, but if I did, sorry for the repeat. But I've listened to that show a long time, probably a good 20 years. And as you've probably figured out by now, I really like reading about, watching television shows about paranormal. I've seen a lot of those shows and read a lot of books about that stuff, and I just find it really fascinating. And you can always find something interesting on Coast to Coast AM. I think tonight's episode is going to be about AI and whether it's our friend or foe. And then the last half of the show is going to be about the book of Revelation, which is another fascinating subject for me. But yeah, so I'm probably going to do that. If I decide I don't want to wait up till midnight for it to listen to it, then I might watch some videos on YouTube and go to bed. I've been watching a channel on YouTube called the Y-Files, and it's definitely a interesting show. The guy that does it, him and his co-host Hecklefish, which that in itself is pretty humorous. He he'll present cases of strange, unusual things where, sometimes it's paranormal, sometimes it's just a mystery, and he'll present the story as people know it. And then after that, if there's any evidence to support or debunk it, he presents that. But he always leaves it up to the viewer to decide what they think. And I don't mind skeptics. It's good to be a healthy skeptic, but some people, it don't matter what it is, it could be right in front of their face and they won't believe. But to each their own. Let's see what all we got here. All right, so more woods. You take this off. More woods. The river still. Over here, I'm getting pretty close to where I'm camped. So right over there, let me see, is the concrete plant, I believe. And then I'm not sure what that is over there at those lights, but that for sure is a concrete plant. Then I'll come up here and I'll show you like the parking area and show you the church that's over there. Man, it is just such an amazing night. I mean, finally, after the wind settled down anyway, there for a while I was getting pretty frustrated. It's a good thing that I can edit videos, because I don't know if y'all would appreciate me losing my cool on video, but I got it finally situated. Alright, so let's walk over here. Some more stuff. Oh, something in the bushes there I heard scramble away. Let's see, take y'all over there to where I thought I might camp. We can go right on the riverbank. Let's see, my camp is just right through there, of course, and we'll head back that way shortly. First, I want to go show y'all this. Alright, so originally, where's it at here? Give me a second. I'll make sure I'm at the right spot. Maybe a little farther up. So you see all of this right here. Originally, I thought about camping in here along this area, but there just wasn't enough cover, but it was easily accessible. And so you walk over here through this area. Let's see if we can walk in there. Maybe we won't run into any kind of bad, crazy critters or anything. That's not where I was. It's a little farther down, I think. Maybe it was right here. Yeah, I think this is where I came in. So you can see the grass here is pretty deep. And that was a lot of the reason why I kind of changed my mind, because we do have snakes, and as I found out tonight, ticks. So hopefully I don't have any of those guys on me. Let's see, there's the river, and if you could get down there, I mean, there could be a possible good camping site. But yeah, like I say, I almost camped right over here, but decided it was not a good thing, and I'm glad, because where I'm at is much better. Let's go over here and check out this area, and then I'll probably sign off until I get to the tent. Alrighty, so through here is the church called Timber Ridge. I'm not a huge Timber Ridge fan, but church is a church. Of course, there's the main highway, and finally nobody's out here besides me. All the cars are gone. The only one here is mine, and hopefully nobody notices it. So, whoa, too bright. Give me a second. Put this back on. I keep forgetting about this light mod. Alright, so I'm saying that's probably going to be it for tonight. Alright, hold on a second. It's probably going to be it for tonight. I might do some filming in the tent once I get in there and get it situated. But right now I'm probably going to sign off from you guys. I'm going to go to the car and get some stuff and put some stuff in there, and then I will see you folks in the morning. Good night. Alright folks, so here I am in the tent. I'm about to retire for the evening, and it's been a good day, been a long day, but it's been fun. So I will probably see you folks in the morning. I'm going to be waking up at 4:30 and packing my stuff and getting out of here before people start showing up for church or using the trail or whatever. So I'll see y'all. Good night. All right, good morning, guys. It's 6:06. I just got home. I made it through the night, obviously. It was a pretty good night. The wind finally died down and I was able to chill out, listen to a little Coast to Coast. I actually listened to an Art Bell show from the 90s and it was pretty interesting. I want to thank everybody for watching and everybody who has supported me. Once again, I want to make a shout out to Jay and Knight for suggesting this challenge. And if you like what you see on the channel, please subscribe, please like the channel. Every little thing helps. Check out my merch. If you want a Hogtown Camping shirt or sticker or hat, you can find one there. The link is in my bio. Also, if you see any of the gear that I use and you want to check it out yourself, you can click on the links also in the video description. It helps the channel out, and other than that, that's it. I appreciate you guys. Till next time, keep camping.